So much remains uncertain. An end to the war in Gaza could be in sight. But many who have watched this conflict play out over the past 2 years have reservations about Trump's peace plan. Diana Bhutto is one of them. She is a Palestinian human rights lawyer and former legal advisor to the PLO. She joins us from the West Bank. Diana, welcome. Let me ask you, given the devastation that has been wrought on Gaza, is this not worth welcoming as an end to the violence?
Look, Farid, there's nobody who wants to see an end to this more than the Palestinians themselves. We've had to live through 2 years of genocide, 2 years of seeing the Gaza Strip decimated with 90% of the homes flattened, more than 70,000 people killed, 20% of the population with injuries. There's nobody who wants to see it more happen. My fear with this plan is that it's not going to bring an end to this, that it's simply going to be something for the short term, and that it's going to resume once again. So I'm looking for something that is going to be longer term, where there are guarantees that Israel isn't going to resume again, and that there are guarantees that Palestinians will finally be able to get the aid that they need because Israel has blocked it, and that they'll finally be able to rebuild, which Israel has been blocking as well.
But would it be worth going down this path, or is your fear that Hamas will give up the one piece of leverage they have, which is the hostages, and not get enough in return?
You know, Farid, I think it's important to step back and look at what's happened. Palestinians have been the only people in history who've had to negotiate an end to their genocide. And that is quite repugnant. There should have been an end to the bombing a long time ago, without Palestinians having to negotiate and go back and forth. But yes, the fear is that this will simply be very short term, 3 days, as is specified in the agreement, and that then again, the bombing will resume. Because once again, there are no guarantees. All of the guarantees that are provided in this 20-point plan are provided to the Israelis, nothing provided to the Palestinians. And so how is it that we're providing guarantees and providing a path and providing all of the things that the Israelis want when they're the ones who've been committing this genocide over the course of the past 2 years? I heard your guest just earlier say that this is an Israeli plan, and this is precisely what it is. This is an Israeli plan that has been repackaged as an American plan. And we know what the Israelis want. They want to commit ethnic cleansing, they want to commit genocide, and they've said as much. So on what basis is it that Palestinians should be looking at this and saying that there isn't some bad intentions in this? Once again, we do want to see an end to the bombs. We don't want to see an end to the bombs just for a period of 3 days.
Now, you know, there are lots of Palestinians, certainly who I've talked to, and there's some polling that suggests that Hamas is not particularly popular in Gaza. Is it worth welcoming the reality that this might be a new start for the Palestinians in Gaza, that perhaps there could be some kind of technocratic authority that takes it over initially, perhaps elections? There's been talk about the Palestinian Authority being involved. What are your thoughts about that?
So, Farid, Hamas long ago said that they didn't want to be part of the governance, which is why when they issued their response to President Trump, they said, we will deal with this one part, being the captives and the exchange of prisoners, but they're not going to deal with the second part because that's a Palestinian decision. And again, here's another problem. Isn't it for Palestinians to be deciding who's going to be presiding, who's going to be ruling? Shouldn't we be the ones who have a say in who's in our government?
But how
Why
does
is
one,
it that it's
how,
always
Diana,
somebody else
Diana,
who does the deciding?
Diana, how does one do that? Hamas stopped holding elections. The Palestinian Authority stopped holding elections. So you have two entities, neither of which are willing to let the Palestinian people vote.
And one of those reasons that there were no elections was because the Israelis also weren't allowing us to have elections. Remember, there have always been conditions that have been placed on Palestinians being able to exercise their rights, to be able to exercise their rights to hold elections. But there's a bigger issue here. This isn't just about elections. This is about freedom. And there's nothing in this plan that is guaranteeing Palestinians their freedom. Palestinians now have been living under Israeli military rule, and there's nothing in this plan or in any plan that is guaranteeing that that yoke of occupation, that those chains are going to ever become free. Israel said as much. Just the other day, Netanyahu said that they're never going to pull out of the Gaza Strip. And time and again, Netanyahu said that there will never be a Palestinian state. So on what basis is it that we're constantly demanding that Palestinians somehow choose different leaders, when at the end of the day, all that you're doing is constantly subjugating Palestinians? It's time now for Palestinians to be given their freedom. We have a right to be free. It's not a right that Israel gets to choose our leaders or the United States. It's our right. And that is why we should be pushing, not for the country who's committed genocide or the country that's funded the genocide to be putting together plans. It should be that the world should be stopping the genocide and we allowed to be free.
Diana Buru, good to have you on. Thank you.